Hey everybody, this is Herschel from High School Top 200, and this review of St. Peter's and Wesley is brought to you by Farrah's. What Farrah's has done is that they've given me some stuff to give away, and we've got all this kind of stuff for you. So we're going to give that away in a competition. So all you mums that are out there that are part of the page, I'm going to post up something tomorrow or today, and then you guys can compete for it, and I'll put the instructions down and everything like that. So Farrah's brings you this review. It was pretty much exactly what I thought the game was going to be like. It was very physical out there. I thought that it was basically going to be a full field attack by St. Peter's, and then I thought also that Wesley was going to control the game with their forwards, and it kind of went that way. So they had a real big push back and forth, trying to control sort of the real tempo of the game. Even though the score in the game was really good, I thought that it was too dominant by, and I don't really like to push it this way, but I thought the ref had a massive effect on the game, and how it slowed down sort of and got into the heads of the Wesley boys, because I felt like a lot of the things that he was calling, even I didn't understand what he was calling or why he was calling it. And then it started piling up, and then it just gets to some of the boys, and that's kind of what happened. Even if the ref caught it fairly, and he had I still think St. Peter's would have won, but it still doesn't sit right with me that you sort of take that away from the boys and sort of how they prepare for the game. There were a few calls that were right, but majority of them, and then when it started stacking up, it just felt like he was basically calling anything that he saw was even slightly out of control. There were some big hits there that were called as yellow cards that I thought was terrible, but that's just kind of the way that it goes. So the locks had a big massive effect on the game, and it kind of did even out. Benny played a really good part in it, with James as well. They swapped a lot in the line-out calls, so it wasn't too one-sided. They did a lot of movement as well. Tupou on the other side with Brent also gave their side a good chance of making sure that nothing was red, and that everything was quick and fast on the movement up, even if they were slow to move to their positions in the lineup, which I thought was great. A lot of things that went well for both teams was actually the running game. Most of the time the ball was moving back and forth. I thought that guys like Andrew Vianney was like a real big part of the St. Peter's running game, along with Benny and Ollie as well. So as they moved out the ball, I thought that their attack was a lot more, I guess, striking, rather than a slow, gradual thing. They made sure that they struck every single time at the line, bent the line, and drove the defense back. What I liked about it was that they didn't have just one attacking runner. They had everybody following through and making sure that everyone got touches. Even Bowler came at different angles from second five and was hitting the line, so that it kept the defense coming back to just one spot and just holding them there, which gave a lot of good runs for the outside. PJ Latu had some good runs on the outside where he was free, and then he had some good inside support, so I thought that was great. The Wesley boys, I thought, were good were I think Motu was one of the key ones, and what Motu did was basically, when Wesley was scrambling, he just took it straight to the line, took it to defenders, always broke a few tackles at a time. Him and Bowler had this really good back and forth with each other in terms of running the ball, and so I thought that was great, because it made the game a lot more physical and up front, which we like to watch. Motu was one. Tupou, even though he did run some good lines and did run some good at the defense, he was also used as as a facilitator to get the ball to the outside and sort of attract attention. And that's exactly what he's actually got a really good pass for a lock, and he can even pass it pretty far distance as well, which was great. Him and Malupo Maafu were probably the main guys in the forwards that got the forwards going, and also making sure that they had extra support going on their runs as well. So like there was always guys that were backing up. The only thing I didn't like about Wesley was that they were only playing maybe 3 phases or so, or 3 or 4 phases, and then they would make little mistakes which didn't really help, which always is really frustrating at times. And so that was one of the things I thought that I wish that they would have maybe cleaned up a bit. But I mean, like, that's just first game of the season kind of wonder, so you can sort of understand how that works, and why it would be like that. One guy I really liked for Wesley was their open side, Bailey Allender, I think his name is, and he was just everywhere on the field, and he was making tackles all over the place and stuff. So I think that he's going to be a key guy for them in terms of the defense, and making sure that they maybe make sure that they move up in the line, make sure that there's some speed to their defense as well. And he never gives up when he's at the breakdown, which is also a good point of them to have, where they have a guy that will always fight for the ball, and then he knows where to give up, fighting for the ball, or where to, detach from the ruck, and then sort of make use of the position that he has next to the rucks and things like that, or pushing guys in so he can get out into the flats a lot faster. Kaya was probably one of the most controlled guys on the field. I thought he did a good job of making sure that the midfield got a lot of attention, and made sure that they had a lot of ball and a lot of threat, so that once they wanted to start moving it into forwards and different angles, and making sure they were going back towards the middle of the field to give them sort of both sides of attack, I thought that he did really great in doing that and attracting that kind of attention, and then being able to sort of play off the kicks really well. I thought the game went really well, besides the ref. I think both teams are probably going to have this is probably like the best game for both of these teams to have, because they're both really good teams. They found out exactly what they need to do to work on, to sort of to be prepared when they play these bigger teams like St. Paul's, and fielding and making sure that they're ready for teams like Francis Douglas, who can trip up teams as well, and Wanganui Collegiate. So this was a really good game for them. Like I said, it went exactly kind of the way that I thought it was going to go. The ref really didn't help, but I thought that everyone played pretty great. That's my review for this Wesley and St. Peter's. Peace.